what Liz is saying in terms of the rules. All of us would probably say going through this process there definitely needs to be some work. But Liz, I don't think any of us have done anything other than taken this very serious. It is indeed one of those things where the person that you're hearing from and those of us that are making decisions, it is about what our reputation might look like in the end as a party and as individuals. So I'd say we've all taken this pretty serious. So
yes.
I agree with you up to that point in saying it's not sort of been looked at serious by us. So
okay, I have, before we come into session, out of kindness, I would like to ask Mr. Daniel Palmer, who has probably spent a lot of time, I'm not asking for a defense, Daniel, but I just wonder if you have, I just would like to offer you, I've had a lot of other people saying something, and I just want to just ask you now, I would like to ask you now, we're in recess, so just 30 seconds, 30 seconds.
Ma'am, I move, this is Steve Strait, point of order. If we're going to continue, if we're going to continue in this order, I'm going to move that we adjourn as soon as we come back into session. This is totally
all right, okay.
unacceptable to the body, as I understand.
I'll withhold my comments. Go ahead and go back into session.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you. We are now in session. We are now in session, and thank you. Is everyone back online, hopefully? The voting members, we have 14. Okay, we're ready to roll then. And I'd like to note the time, 10 minutes to 10. 10 minutes before 10 on the ARP office clock. Proceeding then straight away to...
Madam Chairman, this is Ralph.
Ralph, yes, you are recognized. Ralph Seekins.
Back on the record, the only thing I could have, if, for example, any other discussion on the procedure on this the matter that was before us that was just voted to be tabled, the only way that I see that any other discussion on that could be made would be if there was a motion that was passed to reconsider the previous motion, and then you could discuss the matter. Otherwise, we can't discuss that matter any longer until the next SEC meeting.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you, Ralph. And at this time, I would like to ask if there is any interest of anyone at this time for a motion to reconsider. Now would be the appropriate time to deal with that matter, and I would appreciate that coming forward now instead of later.
I'll make the motion since it was requested by the chair on a motion to reconsider the matters.
It's going to need a second now. That would need a second.
Point of order, I think we haven't finished resolving his point of order yet.
Oh, I'll withdraw.
If there's any matter...
Remember, you
One moment, yes, thank you.
You had to give taken, not taken, someone has to appeal, someone has to second vote on it. That process was never completed.
Okay.
Is the chair still considering having Liz Vasquez read whatever she was going to make her statements to the body? Because that was the issue at hand.
I can only, Madam Chair, only during recess. You'll have to recess. Technically, I'm not a part of the...
Very well.
So she agrees to that, you just rule.
Okay, we've got a number of questions in queue here. We have a number of questions coming forward to the chair. Let me take them in order. If there is a matter on the table, if on the floor for action, could you remind me, I thought that we had approved, I thought that the body by roll call vote had handled all of the motions on the floor.
The point of order.
Is that true or false?
That's true.
But then there was the point of order from Mr. Strait about Ms. Liz Vasquez not being a member of the SEC and not appropriate for her to speak.
So you get to read one of those two quotes in bold print at this point.
Would you restate your point of order?
Well, I will speak to my point of order, and I think we've resolved this issue. I think we have, because the issue was allowing a non-SEC member to, your ruling to allow a non-SEC member to speak to us. That was my concern, and I would be glad to withdraw my point of order if the understanding was that that were not to occur.
Thank you, because yes,
and I will withdraw my point of order.
We have arrived at a very good understanding. We're ready to go. All right, and if we need to hear, if I request, I will recess so that we may hear from an inappropriately positioned member. All right, very well. Well, I doubt that will happen. All right, excuse me. if there's no other further matter on the floor, then I think we've arrived at the point where we will move forward on our agenda for the second individual facing in the hearing today, and that would be Mr. Daryl Lanson. However, we will hear from Mr. Frank McQuarrie, who is the complainant in this matter. Frank.
Madam Chair, first I would like to address, there was no disrespect in the way I'm dressed because I plan to go from here to a work project over at Providence Hospital if we get done in time, which would not be appropriate to be dressed
Sure
in a
enough,
suit.
Frank. That tie was great last time. I meant what I said about it.
Yeah. So,
You had a good tie on.
in the instance, and I came from work the other night, so I already had the tie on. It's not my chosen means of dressing when I'm
Thank you, and the clock is ticking, by the way.
Okay. In the interest of staying very judiciously and religiously within the rules, it was pointed out to me by our parliamentarian that I had not met all of the criterion for filing the charge against Mr. Lanson in front of this body, because he is not a member of the SCC. He is an elected member of a district, and it's inappropriate that should be handled by the district, and only if the district indicates that they can't, will not, or cannot. The charge against Mr. Lanson is a serious one. It deserves debate in this organization because Mr. Lanson was party to a lawsuit by the attorneys for Ron Paul
Incorrect. It's not true.
It appeared to me that he was one of the signatories and one of the clients of this firm. It needs to be heard, but technically we can't hear it before this body until something is done at the district level, and there's some reason to think that we need to do it. So at this point I'm requesting that this body dismiss the charges in front of the SEC against Mr. Lanson and refer it back to the district level for whatever disposition is appropriate under the rules at that level.
I'd like to
I'll
second
second.
this motion.
Very well. We have been presented with a motion from Mr. Frank McQuarrie to dismiss this matter.
And refer.
And would you repeat that last part of that motion? It was made very succinctly toward the end there, yes.
Yes, my motion was to dismiss the charges against Mr. Lanson as inappropriate to be heard at this level at this time and refer it back to the district committee for their consideration.
Thank you, Frank, for repeating the motion. Does everyone understand the motion? We have had a second, although I'm not sure what the name.
Bruce.
Bruce Schulte had the second on that motion.
Could you clarify what district he's actually from?
District
16.
16.
16 is his district.
Thank you.
That'd be your buddy Wickersham.
Now, that was the completion of your
He's going down too.
3-minute part. So, Mr. Frank McQuarrie.
Madam Chair,
no.
can I just ask?
Do we have a second on the motion? We're going to discuss the motion now.
There's some such. I would just like to. I mean,
Bruce Schulte is speaking.
Having seconded that motion, I would like it entered into the record that Mr. Lanson just made a fairly threatening comment towards his district chair, Mr. Wickersham. I think that deserves to go in the record.
I'll clarify my statement. I plan on prosecuting.
Is this
many
discussion?
people.
I have not
That's what I
recognized
meant by
anyone.
doing that.
Hold on. I would like to recognize Mr. Lanson. Whoa. No, I cannot do that. Stop. Well, thank you, Mr. Rudrick. Thank you, Mr. Rudrick. I want to thank everyone. We're doing fine here. I really believe we are, but with a little bit of patience. Thank you. So you will have your moment in the next 3 minutes. But Mr. Steve Straight, we have a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. And is this discussion to the motion?
It is. I would like to just see if we can move forward with the motion. That would be my comment. Thank you so much.
Very well. Discussion on the motion. We're imminent on voting on the motion. Further discussion going?
Yeah, actually, this is Alice. I would like to hear at least 3 minutes from Daryl Lanson, considering there's been a lot of discussion in regards to this case. and Frank McQuarrie's got to say his piece and talk about charges. I think it would be fair to let Daryl speak at least 3 minutes on his behalf on the record.
We're not going to proceed with requests at this point. It would have to be some sort of a legitimate amendment to the motion. In order for us to proceed, it would have to have a second, Alice. So if you can contemplate while we proceed how you would...
Madam Chair,
Yes.
we've also got a motion and a second on the floor right now we need to vote on before we discuss.
Right, I'm not making a motion,
anyone can make an
I'm
amendment
just
to the
throwing
motion,
that out.
though, if you're a legitimate
Right.
if you're a member, a voting member of the executive committee, an amendment to the motion could be put forward. I'm just saying, but I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, suggesting we're not going to proceed with just.
I don't want to amend the motion. I'm throwing that out for consideration.
Further discussion on the motion that we have on the floor, please. Anyone? Very well. Let's have a call for the vote. Roll call, please. Let's go teleconference. Well, no,
So
in
this-
order.
This is to pass the motion that Frank requested to dismiss the charges as inappropriate at this level and refer to the appropriate district level. A yes vote means that you're going to dismiss the charges to the district level. Debbie Brown.
Yes.
Ralph Seekins.
Yes.
Debbie Joslin. Debbie Joslin. I'll come back to her in case she's having technical difficulties. Alice Loika.
Yes.
Frank McQuarrie.
Yes.
Rex Shattuck.
Yes.
Peter Goldberg.
Yes.
Steve Straight.
Yes.
Bruce Schulte.
Yes.
Mike Tarianen.
Yes.
Paulette Simpson.
Yes.
Pete Higgins.
Yeah.
Sandy Doyle.
Yes.
Debbie Joslin. Right, Debbie's not on, but I have unanimous yeas have it.
We did not lose quorum, did we?
No, we did not.
Excellent. Very well. We've reached a moment in time here where we have a gentleman rising to Mr. Steve Straight. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I'll leave this to your call on this one, but I would just offer this suggestion. A gentleman has been asked, somebody on the SEC asked if a gentleman could speak that's not a member of the SEC. If we went into like a 3-minute recess, if that was the decision of the chair, then we could come back into session here.
I would like to take that suggestion.
I would actually like to make a motion
Alice
to allow him on the record, considering statements have been made on the record about him. I really think it would be appropriate to have that on the record. So I'd like to make a motion. We can vote on it if you'd like.
Would you please make your motion?
Sure. Make a
Alice-
motion to allow Darren Ramzon to speak on his own behalf for 3 minutes.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. How long did you say in your motion?
3 minutes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to allow Mr. Lanzon 3 minutes which essentially would be his 3 minutes that Mr. Frank McQuarrie already had. And so we have this motion, and I would ask for support of this motion as the chairman. And let's call for the vote unless there's discussion on the motion.
We're talking to the motion, right?
Yes, we have Mr. Straight who would like to speak to the motion, then we'll go online.
Okay.
Point of order, Steve Straight. I'm just thinking this through here. What we've asked to do is in essence suspend the rules to make this happen. That takes a 2/3 vote. I would ask that we not go that direction, but I will appeal this and make it a point of order if we proceed down this road. That would be to have this on the record.
Well, first
I
of
did
all,
not ask to suspend the rules.
thank you, Steve, for your comments. But what I would like to ask the body to do is vote
No, you can,
yes or no on this motion. We have a legitimate motion. It's been legitimately seconded, and we are going to move ahead with a vote after appropriate discussion. Rex, I believe you're next up online for discussion to the motion on the floor, please. Thank you.
I think in fairness to Daryl, if it's not appropriate for the SEC or SCC, which are in terms of structure sometimes seen as levels above,